Thank you.
Well, that's really too much money. You have to swear that.
I'm a paper guy. You newfangled kids with your digital stuff. Good morning. It's 10:02 a.m. and I call this meeting of the Commissioner's Court of Wichita County to order. Everyone would rise with me in the invitation. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity for all of us to come together this morning. Thank you for the precipitation and necessary rain and frozen precipitation we got last week that will help fill our lakes and put moisture in the ground. We thank you for that. Father, we pray for every person in this room who's in a position of leadership or is an elected official. Pray that you would give all of us wisdom to make decisions that benefit the residents of Wichita County. Pray that you would help all of us to be faithful in doing our jobs and in doing what we were elected to do. And Father, I pray that you would be over our law enforcement, our first responders, those who put themselves in the middle of harm's way for us. We just pray for special protection for them and your blessing to be upon them. Lord, there are a lot of things happening in our world, in our country, in our state, and locally. We know that you're in control, and we just pray that we would be used by you to improve the lives of those around us. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right, if y'all will join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, we all have a seat. Except for Stacy Tucker. You'll come up here.
Judge, come with her.
And Judge Baker, if you would join. So Stacy is the Wichita County Employee of the Month for January 2023. And on behalf of your county family, we want to give you this plaque to express our appreciation and gratitude for a job well done. You're one of the very many friendly faces I got to meet in doing orientations and meeting folks around the county. I know you're doing a tremendous job, and we thank you for it. I've asked Judge Baker if she would, since she works directly with you, she would say a few words.
I'm lucky enough to have had Stacy now for going on 9 years. She wanted to work for me before there was even an opening. That's how excited I was to have her, because her mother was Becky Knox. A lot of you people know her. And so Becky trained her before she even started for me. So I'm thankful she got a good start. Love her to death. She keeps our court right on time. And I'm proud of you.
I would want to say that she's got multiple duties, because even though she is Judge Baker's right-hand man, she also answers all the questions. If you come to Precinct 4, she's going to be the one you probably see first, and she'll know where most everyone is and what's going on. And so we really appreciate all of the help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Who'll take a picture for us?
Right here.
Oh, we have it there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you again. Okay, do we have any other presentations?
I want you to know this is her first time at Commissioner's Court. She's never even been here.
Well, welcome.
Will you stay?
Yeah, you
always
can.
a lot of fun and everything.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Do we have any other presentations to do? All right, it is 10:06. And now we'll open up this time for public comments. As a reminder, please limit your comments to 5 minutes, and the Commissioner's Court cannot take action on any items that are not already on the agenda. Do we have any public comments from anyone in the audience? Do we have any comments from anyone joining us virtually? No? Okay. All right, it is 10:07. Close this time of public comment and move on to the consent agenda. Commissioners, do y'all have any action that you want to take on any items on the consent agenda? Because if not,
I would like to say one thing about number 9, since it was on the news this morning. That's nothing new. That's just something that was ongoing. The courthouse,
We're just
and
paying the
elevator
bill.
remodel going on. We're just finally paying the bill, which they wanted the bill paid like 6 months ago, I think, when it was
Back in
in
October.
storage. And we just held them off till we got the actual equipment there, so this is nothing new.
thank you.
And clarification on item 10, I think Nancy and Debbie put together the advertisements, but that actually ranges between 2022 and 2024. We had thought we had found one through Caldwell, but it wasn't the long bed work truck, so we had to back up on it. And we're hitting up against the empty wall out there, so we're gonna go ahead and send out some local ads to see if we can get anything comparable in close proximity.
Motion to approve.
All right, before we do that, I do have a couple of things. Item 2 and item 3 are our two declarations of disaster motions, and I'm actually going to move that we take those off of the consent agenda and table those moving forward. I will ask Lee Burgoyne to come up, and he found out some information on how this affects funding and that's related to. I wanted him to come up and address the court for why I'm making that motion.
So there's really no funding tied to those disaster declarations. Disaster declarations are put in place to help local jurisdictions where they're overwhelmed, either financially or with resources. Those two are, one is weather and one is COVID. And those two disaster declarations we're still a part of at the state level, so there's no reason to have them locally. There's just, they don't serve a purpose on the agenda.
And does that just cover 1 and 2, or how does 3 play into that?
It covers 2 and 3.
Oh,
2 and
2 and 3, okay.
So we got the COVID
Oh,
disaster
okay.
order is 2, and then
Okay.
3 was the Winter Storm Uri disaster order.
And I do have a question. And the reason the prior judge said that they were on there is because if the state ever did allow any more funding under those, as long as we were open, it would be there. But you're saying that that's not?
Well, it would have to, those disasters have to spin back up. So the weather one is passed. There's no more
Right.
funding available for that. And the COVID one, if we were to revert back to 2020, we would just do another disaster declaration, send it in, that'd be that. There's really no reason to hang on to this.
I didn't understand then, but that was the reason
So
it was given.
we're still eligible under those two disaster declarations for mitigation funds. If there's a project that we have and we can apply for it, like the generator project that we did, it was $100 and something thousand. That was with mitigation funds, and we applied under 2 separate mitigation grants. We can still do that. Just because we don't have a local disaster declaration doesn't prevent us from applying for any of those grants. That Wichita County is, the way that works is if you're a declared county, you get first pick of the money. If you're an undeclared county, then you come after the other ones that are declared. And we're declared in both of those, so there wouldn't be any issue getting mitigation funds if they're
Didn't the
approved.
legislature discuss last week dropping these statewide?
Yeah. Sure did.
They did, but
Part of the discussion,
Yeah.
well, there wasn't any action on this, no. Okay.
And I did ask Nancy to look at half a dozen other counties similar size to us. None of them have
Have a
local
continuation.
disaster declaration continuations anymore. So I think, thankfully, I think we're in a good spot to remove those declarations. And like Lee said, if something pops up in the future, I'm sure this court will react quickly and with how we need to. So, any more questions on that? Okay, thank you, Lee.
Judge, on item 8, just for the record, I did inspect that property and see no reason why we shouldn't move forward with that. We want to make sure it wasn't something strategic that we might need, but don't see it. So that's a good move to move forward on.
Excellent.
Motion approved with amendment.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Finn-Cannon, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the consent agenda as amended. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to general business. Number 1, receive presentation regarding Gall's Incorporated website portal for Sheriff's Office employee uniform purchase. And I understand we have a couple of guests, so if y'all would introduce yourselves and give us a presentation.
Appreciate y'all letting us be here today. I'm Jack Conley with Galls, and this is Kathleen Sutherland. And we're a unique team at Galls. She's my daughter, so. She's been with Galls for about 4 years now and got promoted up to being, we both cover all of the North Texas area. So she's smarter than I am, and so she's here to do this. I did this 5 years ago for the court with Terry Jones. We were up here, and so we've taken a little time to get to this point again today. But Greg, we appreciate you having us here, and Sheriff, thank you so much. And basically what we're going to do is kind of show you what the site is like. We take care of all uniforms for your officers, and this site helps kind of speed up the process, cut down on mistakes, just streamline the whole ordering process, and we'll show you kind of a real high elevated look at it, and then we have your site built already that we've been working on with Greg on the different items that you want loaded on there. And then we'll also show you another site that I think we've got Frisco Fire, just to show you what an allotment type form looks like. Right now you're set up to where if Greg ordered anything, it would just come billed to the county. When you set up an allotment program, that's where you issue so much money to each officer for them to use for their uniforms. So we'll show you what that looks like on here as well. So any other questions, just pop in anytime. We'll just kind of go through this. Kathleen will. Yeah, sure.
May I interject one thing?
Sir.
The site that we have locally is for evaluation only. This is not our rollout site.
Oh,
We put about 400 items in what you're going to see for us. We didn't include the allotments yet, but it was just for you to evaluate.
This site is no charge to you, obviously, and we've got, golly, I don't know how many over the country that we do this for. And our corporate office is based out of Lexington, Kentucky, and so this is where the site's built. But it can be changed anytime. Things can be deleted, added. What we call VAS is any value-added service that's done to a garment, so patches, embroidery on the polos, anything like that is set into this as well. So when you got on the site and ordered, Judge, you got your polo, and it would automatically have everything populated on the shirt for you. And so that helps our team, our alterations department, all our seamstresses and tailors. So when they get the ticket that drops in, comes from this site, it goes into the alterations department, and they know exactly what to do to the garment. So that's kind of what this is all for.
That portal link is also on the sheriff's website, where employees will access the sheriff's site and come to your portal, or do they go into Gall's website?
They will go eventually when we get to that point, if we get to that point where everybody can have access from their phone. They can pull it up right here, and say somebody just got off duty and they tore their shirt and they needed a shirt they're not back on for next week.
Right.
They can go ahead and put the order in, and you can set it up in many different ways. I know.
You're basically doing, hey, you did the PowerPoint, here you go.
I just get on a roll, so they can do a requisition basically, and then if Greg is going to approve it, then it can be done and processed that way, and I'll be quiet. That's why I brought her along with me.
But you did that. Okay, so I'm Kathleen Sutherland again, like you said. I am his daughter, and he put me in charge of your PowerPoint, so hopefully you don't feel like you're back in high school. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of go over a few things.
Can everybody see okay? No.
Already introduced you to your regional account executive. A little bit about Galls, just so whoever doesn't know in the room, kind of give you a little bit brief overview of who Galls is. We'll go over your equip discussion, onboarding process, and then what we'll do from there once you guys decide what you want to do. Okay, so Galls is a nationwide company that has acquired multiple businesses over the last 50 years. They have, we currently are growing over 1,500 employees. We have 500,000 customers that we are increasing each year as well. We have well over 8 million orders that we place yearly. We keep heavy stock. Of course, COVID sort of threw a wrench in that a little bit. However, we're trying to work with our manufacturers to continuously increase our stock so that we don't have to make you guys wait. We have multiple strong relationships throughout the nation. Texas DPS is one of the biggest relationships that we have local to Texas. And then Harris County Sheriff's Department as well. We service everyone from NYPD, LAPD, all who are using eQuip to expedite their purchasing process.
Tarrant County Sheriff and Dallas County Sheriff as well.
As well, yes. Oops. Not too fast. So the whole idea behind eQuip is to make things much more efficient for your officers, for your staff, for anybody who is using it. It eliminates, a middleman. It allows you to be the one to purchase or approve rather than waiting for a phone call or an email response. So it just is for you guys to have a little bit more control and not waiting on a secondary person or third to do it for you. We have a few different ways we can set up the allotment. It can be a dollar-based allotment where I give you $800 and $800 is what you can spend. You can choose how to use it. We can do a unit allotment where you can purchase 5 garments depending on which one it is. You can do 3 shirts, 2 pants, 2 shirts, 3 pants. We can also do a PO-based system where we load a PO for a general PO, and that would be typically an approval-based process where one person has control over that. All of your employees can go in and order it, and then one person would be the one to push the order through. And then we can also do a combo allotment as well. It can be a unit and dollar allotment. You really have a lot of options. It just depends on what your department needs, and we can meet those needs for you.
And you can do multiple levels of approval. If it ultimately needs to go to Greg to do the final sign off on it, you can have an officer's immediate supervisor can approve it, and it just kind of goes through the system however you want it. And it's all automatic in the email form.
Absolutely. So again, it minimizes the cost essentially by limiting what time frame you have. So instead of waiting weeks, it allows you to go in and customize it however you want. It's easier as far as you guys being able to look and see what you have, what's on back order. It gives you much more insight into your department's function through goals, as opposed to feeling blind and again waiting on an email.
Let me interject one thing on the cost part of it. It also saves your department money when you've got an officer, like I said a while ago, can use something on their phone to order instead of having to drive the county vehicle up here, wait, fill out paper requisition forms, all that kind of stuff. It just speeds up the process, which is a better steward of your money.
And it links your account to it so that if say, one of your deputies was to go into Galls and they didn't know what account it was under and they may pay full price, this is going to already have your contracted agreements on there with the cost. And so again, rather than, oh, we paid too much and then we have refunds, it allows you to just have it already locked in, expedites the process. Okay, this part we basically just talked about. I'm gonna save the breath on that. So here is kind of, this is where it's gonna start showing you all of the different breakdowns. There's asset management and reporting systems. So if you have a back order and you want a back order report ran, you have the ability to do that through your eQuip. You can run allotment reports to see who's used items. It really, again, just gives a deeper insight as to what all is going on, rather than saying, hey Jack, do we have a lot of back orders? You have the ability to see those back orders for yourselves. So it's not he said, she said, it's all right there in front of you. And then you can then forward that into an Excel file and save it for your own keeping, or you can email that to one of us and say, hey, I just noted we have all of this stuff on back order. Can you give me some insight as to what's going on? And then I'll actually show you that function here shortly so that you can actually put a face with the name of these functions.
One of the other features that helps in this too, depending on what y'all decide you want to do, if it's the county paying for everything and Greg's in charge of it, Jack Conley comes in and says, I need another shirt. And you go, I just got you 2 shirts last week. you know, and so you can go in and run these reports and say, we've issued you this many shirts, why do you need another shirt? Do you really need one, or did you tear it on duty or whatever? So it just gives you a lot more behind the scenes vision of what's going on.
So another function that we made sure was added to y'all's exclusive website is the shop goals function. So what that allows you guys to do is if somebody wants to go on and shop something outside of what is department approved or is within the allotment, they can go just to the full website. It's almost like an Amazon for fire and PD uniforms and duty gear. And they're able to go and look outside of that. For example, if you do a boot allotment and you just do $1 allotment for boots, they can go search any of those boots. That's not just specific because there's hundreds of them. Whereas we might just put, 20 on your equip site that it's like, this is our recommended boot option, but then this allows them to go outside of that and shop elsewhere through Galls.
With an automatic discount. So.
Correct. So within this, your ordering methods can be grouped in a multitude of different, the few that we always try to highlight are packaging systems. So we already set you guys up with a package option on your website that the user that is going in there that has admin approval or whoever is an admin on the website can go in and build. So we always like to do new hire packages. So you have someone come in, this is what every new hire gets. You can go in and load this on the new hire package option, which I'll also show you where that location is as well. And it just expedites, again, the ordering process rather than browsing through the entire website. You've already got it built out. Makes it go by in a 5-minute span versus maybe 20, 30 minutes of browsing.
And you don't forget things.
Correct.
Oh, did we order one else? So that it helps out on that.
And you can do bulk purchasing through there. It can be bulk purchasing is typically easier to go through somebody like he and I because we can expedite that a little bit faster. But you do have that option if it's something that's a general purchase and we've got everything in there, we can add that as well. So like my lovely father said, you can on your cell phone you can have login. So all of your deputies can have their information go on there as if it was an Amazon store. And they can have things, it'll show if there's stuff still remaining in their cart. So they can add it, wait for it a little bit. It will, it really just makes it very personal. And it is a URL specific to your county.
Is that a specific app or is that through the internet browser on the phone?
It's just through the internet browser on the phone, I believe. I don't think we're hip enough to have an app yet.
No, they do it so it's non-searchable. So, and I think y'all are set up as Wichita.
Wichita
auditors.
City auditor.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
So, no, but, I had trouble finding the site. I had to call Greg.
So as we discussed, dollar allotment is one option. It's kind of hard to tell here, but it will show up at the top of the screen. And again, I'll show you a built-out website that already has that available for you. That is, say, $900 per deputy or firefighter. They do it all differently. The unit allotment, again, what it'll do is it'll show on the website how many units they have available, how many they've used, what's remaining, when the cutoff date is for that. Again, very obvious. We have a lot of departments. I ordered, and well, you didn't order at your date. So, and you can see that so that it's not a confusion and digging situation. So the dual allotment system is great if you, as the admin, want to have a PO-based system to do, bulk ordering, and then you can have it to where it's switched to a unit or dollar-based allotment per deputy. It gives you a broader way to order. It's not as commonly used because it can get confusing at times, but it is common if you have a multi-tier approval-based process. The reports and history section is what we talked about also, that again I will also show you, but this gives you options to do, like I said, the back order, allotment, if they've used, how much is left on their account. You can run a report and again transfer it to an Excel file. If any of you fine gentlemen are inquiring or anybody else wants to know what's been spent, it will transfer that to an Excel file. It's not something you're going to have to come to see. It makes it very easy. So the reporting-based system, typically looks like this when you run reports on your website. We can see that, and we can also run reports on your end. It will also show who has run the report. So if you get on there and you're like, oh, I don't know who ran that report, we might have done that on our end, but it just leaves full transparency as to what's been going on in your account. It just helps keep everybody not in the dark. So the onboarding process, we've already skipped ahead on this because we've already built you a website. That's the longest part. That can take sometimes up to 6 weeks depending on what all we have coming in the pipeline, but you guys are already there. So now it's just fine tuning if you decide to move forward with this, which that can go very quickly. So once we've already got that done, you're just, it's, hey, let's tweak this, let's tweak that, add this user, remove this user, and that can be done at any moment. He will also have the control to add users, remove users, add items to the website as he pleases, or remove things from the website as he pleases. Anything that's hanging it up is when we like to step in and try to help with that.
We have an inside team in Lexington as well that works with Greg and all of us, so.
So the next steps for this process is to really just show you what it actually looks like, and then for you guys to decide if you'd like to utilize this tool. Jack Conley is your point of contact. Team Central TX is who you are very, I'm sure, familiar
Yes.
with. They're a group of people that you can email at any moment, and multiple different people can respond. They're very active on their phone as well, so if anybody ever needed a question answered pretty quickly, phone call's the way to go.
And if they don't answer it quickly, that's my job. I take care of it.
Correct.
We get it done.
Correct. So that was the PowerPoint presentation. Hopefully we didn't date us too far back on that. If you'd like, I can show you the equip that we've built out for you guys, and then show you just an example website as well. Does that work?
Yeah.
While she pulls that up, are we expecting to be on an allotment system?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we have built out for you guys currently. I need to, can I trade you? Can I use your?
And this picture right here is, I did send in to have the top of the building put on.
Personalized it.
This is our generic picture that we load. The police like it. They say there's too many firemen on it. So get rid of the firemen. The firemen say it's great, get rid of the cops. So I typically put your a patch or your building. Greg sent in to deal with Wichita County Sheriff up there. So we're gonna get that loaded on here as well. But this is your assignment.
So as you can see right at the very top, these are the sections that I always like to start with top down. The home section is going to just show you, again, your home screen, your options to the left of what you can order. Again, it's very generic right now. It can be as built out or as minimal as you would prefer it to be. The reporting system right here is the second, because you have nothing in your cart. So right now, we just have the generic reports, backorder report, approval report, order history, allotment reports that you can run. There's nothing in there, so I would love to run one for you, however.
And it will automatically, when you run the report, it'll drop down here in an Excel spreadsheet, so you can just take that and do it.
And then it'll start listing them out here. You can either choose to leave them there to go back and look at, or you can just delete them as you go. It's really up to you. The second section is the packaging system. So when you click on the packaging system, what's great is whenever you want to go in and add a new package, what you'll do is where is it? There we go. So what you'll do is you'll fill in new hire package, whatever really package you might want built out. You'll go to the next phase. It'll take you to ShopGall's website or your equip, depending on which section you want to choose. And you just literally click a menu and you add it, and then it'll save it. Once you go here from now on, it'll say new hire package. You click in that, you add the sizes. Some of the personalization we can also have built out to where automatically pre-fills all the patches. All you have to do is type in the name, so that each section has got all the generic stuff ready to go.
One of the nice features on that too, when we get a roster list loaded in, then it has everybody by rank in the system. and you can automatically populate a name to be put on the shirt or the jacket or whatever, because that eliminates people typing wrong. Because if you type Jack as Jake, it's gonna come out on the shirt as Jake. You know, so it eliminates some of the issues with that as well.
So I'm gonna go over here to website maintenance first, so that you can see what you're in control of, and then I'll show you the shop calls function. So the website maintenance gives you the option to limit it to who you want to be doing this. If you want to look at the approval base, what's closed, what's been denied, pending approvals, search it. It will run again another report and show you that information here. There is a new site request section which has all the training videos to walk you through if you have a question, you've never done something before. This will show you how to do it. So if you want to add an item to something, remove it, edit a user, it gives you all the training videos. So it's not like, hey Jack, how do you do this? You can watch it here, and then from there, if you have further questions, again, you can call.
Most of the time, personally, I would prefer an email from you saying, can we add this? I'll send it in as a ticket to be done. It cuts down on a little confusion.
It does, but if you are tech savvy, I do have a lot of departments that like to do it on their own. The product change and the product addition is super easy, so that's not something, I mean, again, that one's super easy. Just click on it, add. But once you do, let someone know, because then we'll make sure that the prices are correct with your contract.
Unless the price is really low, in which case don't let them.
Right, exactly, and that totally take it.
I shot them hard, Judge.
But there are, under this scenario, a package that y'all have put together for a new hire that I don't have to go buy the pants and buy the shirt and I can actually get a package.
That's the idea, yes. Sir.
Okay.
That's what it is for.
Yes, you'll
Down
have it.
everything they need.
Okay.
Correct.
Talk
The
about
only thing that you'll have to do is go into each individual item and just select your size. Because it'll just be a general package
Cool.
system. And sometimes we have in the past saved sizes, but as we all know, winter and summer, we might fluctuate, so we allow you the option to choose.
But it will set up if you need 3 shirts, 2 pants, a belt, you know, whatever you need. You can put the quantities in there, you'll just need to put the sizes.
Correct. So the last bit of your site that I'll go over is I'll show you how it pivots to shop calls function, and that's the second to last option. It's literally just going to take you to our golf.com website, and you can browse at your leisure. And then after you do that, you can either press back or you can,
Always go home.
Let's go. So,
Go home and pull up go to shirts. So here's where, this is how your site looks when we're actually going in to order something. You've got your shirts here. This is the short sleeve shirt. I mean, that's the hybrid shirt. So that's the undervest shirt that you're wearing right now.
your base.
So you click on that, and then it gives you a description of what the product is, what your color option is. Some shirts may have more color options, but this is the only tan you can get. Then you've got your sizes here, and then click on a size just to anyone. It'll also tell you ship date of when the product is going to be available. What we're doing to the garment. So it's got your sheriff or shoulder patch on left sleeve, obviously no charge for that. Right sleeve, no charge for that. Here's where your last name first. Is it just last name? Or
Last name only.
Is that what y'all do, just last
That's
name?
fine.
One time we had, said do first initial last, and they embroidered first initial last, because that's what was on the ticket. I can't make this stuff up.
Now, I will briefly tell you, just full transparency, the state's not always correct. That is a pre-website, nothing to do with us. Again, follow up with your local rep so that you can make sure that it's actually accurate.
But this is what, this is, and it's telling you the thread color and all the details already in there. And then you would just add to the cart the quantity, and it'll proceed you to checkout. So that's how it works, basically.
Something to also note, just so that you are all aware, if somebody has gone over their allotment and they want to continue purchasing, there is a credit card option that If they wanting, you know, a higher dollar allotment boot, and you say you only do 150 and they're 180, they can pay that $30 difference, and you will not be charged for that. That is going to be charged to their credit card. And
Or
then-
you can adjust their allotment.
Correct.
You can edit that as well. Depending on what you
Absolutely.
wanna do.
For sure. If somebody all of a sudden quits and they have $500 in their account, let us know. That's when you would want to contact one of us and let us know that, hey, we need to get this put back in just general PO. But if they want other stuff for their personal use and they want to use the shop calls function through the equip, they can do that so that their shipping address is already pre-filled and all that as
Let's
well.
just go back to the main, just so you can see what we have here is shirts, then your pants, your outerwear, footwear, duty gear, and uniform accessories. So that's good pants, just so they can see. So this is how we do it. We just will have the description of what you're wearing, men's, women's, your cost is in there. This is our part number and then the manufacturer part number. So a lot of departments, you know, they like the manufacturer number because that's what they're used to. But we have to have our number on there as well. So that just kind of gives you an idea there, and go to outerwear. So here we've got gloves, jackets. This is all what Greg had sent in to us, and so we've this is how we built this, based upon what you're currently using.
Now I'll show you the Frisco Fire Department.
I should have pulled up Tarrant County Sheriff, I wasn't thinking.
Well,
This,
that's okay.
this shows you right here.
So he only has $4.54 available, so most likely he'll either leave that or he'll purchase something and have to pay the difference on his own. Their website, again, it's all unique to each department, so this is the way that this firefighter can view it. Now, something that we don't have built out yet for you guys, because we don't have any users in there, is this function right here where it says current location. Right now, it shows me shopping as Adam Campbell, so he will be able to do that. And then if you want to release it and go back to the general view, you just press release. And then,
Go to my account and user maintenance, so they can see what a roster list looks like once we put it in.
okay. This is how you can build it out to where it's per section. So if you want it by rank, or, you know, they obviously have it
Fire
with their
department has,
medical certification
tons
and
of-
all that. Some of them are very minimalistic and you just choose the option at checkout, but we can customize that, however. So he can go in and shop us as just a general person, or you can go over here to my account, and then you go down here to user maintenance. And how I got to Adam was I scrolled down, and on any of the places where you have green check marks, you can click.
This is what your roster list will look like of all your deputies in here.
So their email is really what they would log in, and they would have their username set up that way, and then you can select, press OK to shop as, and then again, it pulls up that particular person only. So, if you wanna see what that particular person can order only, it will lock him into a certain view only. He'll have the admin view so he can shop anything.
What helps on all that too is if you're doing all the ordering, let's just say you're doing it. You go in and shop and order as that person. When the ticket comes in, it's gonna have that person's name on it, so Greg's gonna know where that shirt goes. Otherwise, you get a bunch, 50 shirts come in or 50 pants, and you don't know who's size 34, who's size 40, you know, this is where that goes. We can go through there. It's good. That's good. We just want you to see what an allotment part looks like. You can adjust, anybody on the roster list, you can adjust them, so. As far as if they're active or not active.
Is there any questions or anything, other functions you might like to see?
So individual, or say Greg needs to do some package stuff, does he have to concern himself with sorting that out when it'll all ship to the jail, or does it ship to the home?
No, we'll ship to the jail.
So does he have to worry about, is any orders ever Susie and Kenneth and Billy, does those orders all in one box?
They very well may be, but they'll all be grouped with the tickets on them,
Okay.
with their names on them. So that's where the shopping as the person or if the individuals are doing the shopping, it's still gonna come in with their names on
Okay.
it. So you'll see all that grouped together.
Okay, and then how about, like, say the sheriff wants particular items that are not a individual purchase? Can he buy things through the portal that maybe the sheriff's department needs?
Well, such as our ballistic vests, you know, we may order 10 at a time.
Sure.
And we already do that, like flashlight batteries, for instance,
Yeah.
different pieces of equipment, we just buy it, we've been doing it.
And,
okay.
and that's where he can do it as the admin function.
Oh,
He
okay.
can order bulk items
And
just
then
as the admin.
it'll
and
ship
just
to
ship. Correct.
the jail.
Yes.
And a lot of times we always say for body armor to just order through your local rep because the
Yeah.
website can jumble it up a little
Cool.
bit in transition to either Point Blank or whoever you're with, Safari Lane or.
Let's use an example like pepper spray, you know, we provide that, we need to give them a holder, so we'd order, 40 of that certain size pepper spray, that's why we would do it that way. Instead of the individual having to buy that piece of equipment, take it out of his money, so to speak,
Right.
we're gonna issue that out anyway.
Okay.
Which is
That's
why the
handy.
PO side for him can always be great, cause then he can just order what he needs and it's not coming out of the individual's
Sure.
Yeah.
allotment.
Yeah, Galls have been great with us equipment, for years. And I just, I'm sorry it didn't happen 5 years ago.
It's all right.
Should happen.
I'm a little grayer, but we're okay.
But now you got me, so.
Yeah, she wasn't here 5 years ago.
The thing that's nice with this, Commissioner Finnegan, you can attest to this, is that we don't have to sign, say with the PD, where we can have a quartermaster, and then we don't have to worry about the revenue that would be spent
Exactly right.
to stock all
Ah.
the inventory.
That's right.
We're essentially using Galls as our quartermaster.
Well,
Because we'd have to have sizes from running back to linemen to, free back, safeties.
with our turnover like it is though, we still gonna have a pretty elaborate quartermaster at the SO.
It's a good idea. You sit on
Jail
it.
side.
The jail side, the training officers take care of that.
The
But
thing that's nice about this, as Jack was saying, is the indirect cost savings. You don't have somebody spending half a day trying to get uniforms ordered. It's pointing into, if you are reasonably, basically familiar with Gall's website, it's very intuitive. It's not hard to work through. I haven't looked extensively at the reporting yet, but one of the things I like, the old retailer comes out in me, where if we've got product in there that's not selling, fine, get it out of the program, quit cluttering it up. If I've got something that's selling exceptionally well, fine, we need to look at maybe expanding that product line. So, the versatility as far as being able, as Jack and Kathleen have both mentioned, the thing that is so good is being able to change on the fly, okay? And he brought up the best example, boots, okay? I picked 10 boot styles for the eval copy. It's
Boots are a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you,
But
no matter
they're
what
tactical
department
boots,
it is.
right? Tactical boots.
Oh, yeah, I did all.
It's not something you wanna go boots shooting at the honky tonk, I promise.
No, but that's the thing, is that we have the ability to look at that, and then if they buy outside the portal, on Gall's website, we have the ability to approve the purchase, so.
Or if you don't wanna do that, like, if they have an allotment of $500, they go 1 penny over, it's gonna prompt them for a credit card.
Correct.
So it doesn't affect what you set aside.
Sure.
So the allotment starts over new each fiscal year, so it doesn't carry over from previous year.
Use it or lose it.
And
So-
we make sure we don't, there has been instances in the past, and I think Frisco Fire was one of them, where it wasn't being monitored on their end or our end, and we went over their PO amount by a large amount of money, and it went into the next budget year, and it caused a lot of issues and problems. So, when we're approaching the end of your dollar amount that you have in there, we can wave red flags to ourselves and to you and say, hey, you're 5,000 away from maxing out your deal. What do you want to do? We're going to shut it off then. Fire departments will open up and close their portal maybe 2 times a year, where they allow a certain amount of time for their firefighters or
Yeah.
officers to.
It limits stuff throughout the year because when you're leaving it in busybodies' hands, sometimes they forget, but if you tell them you have a month to order, they're gonna get on there and they're gonna do it. And then it just allows the billing process a little.
A lot of times Sometimes you like to close these things down in August to give you time to reconcile. I'm assuming we're October, right?
We are not, we are a calendar fiscal year.
Calendar year. So, in the mid-November, I would say shut it down and then give you time of December to reconcile, make sure that everything is
And
good.
what does happen to the $100 that I didn't spend? Does it just come back to the county and
Comes back to the
you issue a
county.
new allotment?
Yes.
It's like your flex, it's a use it or lose
Okay.
it. If you don't use your flex plan, we get to keep
But the
the
money
money.
comes back to you.
But
It
you don't
doesn't-
get to go over.
Okay,
It doesn't go into my pocket.
Right.
It comes back to
No,
you.
it goes right back to you.
okay.
And
Goes to
this
their employee
also
bonus.
saves us on taxes.
Absolutely.
So in
Everybody
the
wearing
prior
tattered
system,
uniforms.
we were getting it as a taxable transaction, so because it wasn't an accountability plan. So before they were paying payroll tax and we were paying payroll tax on them. And this way, it saves payroll tax for both the employee and the employers as well.
One last thing.
Closing it down would be good, because you're gonna have people panic and realize they
Yeah.
didn't spend it. And they wanna come in on December 26th and spend it, and they don't realize why it didn't go against the 2023 amount, because we don't pay, Cheryl, I'm assuming we don't pay on order date, we pay on receipt.
Yes.
So, they put an order in the last week of the month, and it doesn't ship to the first week of the next year. And now then we've got hurt feelings because they didn't get their $500.
It's better to shut it down than a month and a half before the end of this fiscal year, so. Last thing on here, and we'll get out of your way because I know y'all are busy, but there is a click here on this side that walks you through how to do all of this that we just told y'all. So if a deputy was on and he's, how do I order my shirt? He can go on that and it'll walk you through exactly how to do an order, so. Any questions? Make sense? Yeah? Good. We appreciate the time being in front of you guys.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
for coming
Thank
in
you
and
very
doing the
much.
presentation.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Do we need to do anything to make this go live, or is it already
I just have to populate the roster.
Yeah, because I think the court already
approved? I thought so.
Have we already?
No, all we did was terminate the payroll allowance.
Okay, so we do need-
We'll need
We
a
need to put it-
motion in order to do this, so that'll, but that's not allowable
No.
for the wording on this, so we'll.
No.
Right.
Do it next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no action taken on number one. We will move on to item number 2. Review and approve the regular bills for payment. Order county treasurer to disperse payroll and bill payments within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically, unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So, second.
Thank y'all very much.
I heard
Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Mahler with the motion.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Buchanan with the second. All right, we have a motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve Action Target Inc. quote number 137666 in the amount of $12,650 for cleaning of the sheriff's gun range, and to authorize county judge to sign range services contract. Amount to be paid from Department 560 with lines determined by the county auditor. Sheriff or one of the deputies want to present on this one?
Well, we've shot, a lot of bullets been shot in this range, so I'm gonna let Eric talk about the rest of it.
Yeah. Do you want me to approach the podium?
Yeah, please do.
All right, for those who don't know me, I'm Eric Wish.
Eric's one of our range masters.
Yes, yes. We do have a bullet trap that's serviced by Action Targets, and it's been running 5 years and hasn't been cleaned. Yeah, it's full. It's full. I've been in contact with Ms. Rosello at Action Targets, and she gave me some advice to go out and check to measure the lead depth in the range. And she said normally it should be 8 to 10 inches of material removed before we see lead. I got about 2.5 inches in before I started seeing lead.
Well,
Wow.
So it is full.
tough.
And what Action Targets will do is they will come out on site with 4 to 6 employees. They will hand dig the entire berm, which is a rubber material like rubber tires that are cut up for a bullet stop. They'll remove all the lead, all the copper, and then clean or sift all the bullet material out and then repack the range. And in that, they will also take our lead, copper, and brass from spent cartridges, and they will take that and in exchange for services rendered, some of it, it'll be a credit that will apply. The only thing that we do not know is we don't know the exact weights of the material that will be taken out or the weights of the material that we have. So they will come out and do the work, take all of our old material, all of our lead, copper, and brass, weigh it, and then give us a credit to be applied towards the final bill of cleaning. So the bill that we presented, I think, is $12,650. It is an estimate prior to our credit for the materials that they will remove from the range.
And Eric, that's just for the cleaning of the target thing.
Correct, for the bullet trap, yes.
Have you done some preliminary stuff? I know you're needing some other things there. Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
done some preliminary looks at different items at the gun range that's gonna have to be corrected?
Yeah, we are in the process of finishing a top wall, so that might add a little bit to it. And then we also need a motor as well for a sliding target that we have. So we will need that as well, which Action Targets can provide that, but I've outsourced that to another more fiscally responsible way to purchase that motor.
Okay.
Some other factors are the poles, the light poles have got to be replaced. It looks worse than a pickup stick gang where they're all leaning because of the way they were, when it was initially built, on what we was originally planning to have it built. The gunite is breaking apart in several places. With water getting down into it and washing it out. And unbelief, this is hard to believe, but you know, asphalt does not last 65 years or someone claims
Yeah,
it's
yeah, the
still
asphalt's
running
pretty
time.
bad out there
It's
too.
bad, it's
Yeah.
sticking to us in the hot summer days, and it's not level. And there are trip issues out there for people that, when we're doing some running backwards or shooting backwards or.
Yeah,
not
and
like-
it
like-
and it
like trick
pools
shooting.
water as well. There's
Yeah.
several spots that pool water.
Yeah,
Water
That's a
running
killer.
underneath it.
yeah, it's underneath it all.
Well, so could we kind of stage some of that and get,
Yes.
maybe start looking, the light poles is a danger to me. I mean,
is.
they're just gonna come, one of these days they're gonna be on top of somebody.
And we've been using inmate labor that's gonna work on the back part on that top part of our building. We've been doing it so far, we just gotta get through some better weather, we can get some up there to get the railroad ties and things we're taking up there. Plus a way to get it up there, we got a way to get them up there, just.
And what is the thing to do inside there where that gunite's cracking and stuff? I mean, is there a,
We'd have to call somebody out and have them give a site evaluation on that, because there is some areas that are really, really thin, and that's where vegetation is penetrating the concrete, and you know what happens when you get vegetation in concrete, it just splits it. It just splits it all up. So we'll have to have somebody come out and actually look at that to give us an idea of what needs to be done.
do they drive on there when they come and fix this?
They
shooting
will.
thing?
They will bring their own equipment. They did ask if we had a forklift available, which we do have a forklift, which I'm sure will help them transport the lead and things out of there. So they're not going to charge us for any of that material, for any of those items. But they'll bring their own pumps, generators, trucks, all the hazmat equipment they need. They'll provide it all.
Cool. And I'm surprised you did it at 5 years. My range is the same size, same company, same everything. And
Yes.
we were clean 2 years ago, and we're coming back in to clean again in May.
Yeah, it
Question I
is.
have,
I think it should probably be every 2 years, just for the amount of bullets that we fire out there.
And I don't know, it's easy to test it to see when you need it, but I'm surprised. We didn't go with Action Target taking our lead. We sold lead locally, but, because they're gonna end up holding it off. The biggest thing that's gonna get you in it, your hazardous material line item that says 1 cubic yard, $1,000, you might end up having 3 cubic yards. Just to be aware, that's gonna be a higher deal.
What are they,
Hmm?
what did they say on?
That's an option that they're not asking for in this quote, the disposal and the recycling of it.
They're not asking for anything?
From looking at the quote, it's just the rubber burn trap mining.
Correct.
that
Correct.
They added, and there were a couple of additional options here. One of them was the hazardous waste disposal.
Well, you're gonna have to get rid of it, and
What would it be, Mick?
it's gonna be rubber fines. When they pull all that out, and you're doing a basic pull, which I found, it would have been better to pull it out to the fin, to the bottom, instead of a basic pull, because they're gonna rake down, basically they're gonna rake down to where they think there's virgin rubber. Problem is that lead seeps down into the bottom of those anyway, and for recouping your money, you're better off to get all that lead out.
Yeah, what she told me was that they would come out and they would mine the range all the way down to the base, and then run it through
It goes
almost
through
like a
conveyor
sifter.
belt and a
Yes.
sifter, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll have all that set up there.
Correct.
And they'll use a little mini skid to take that rubber out of there and dump it into the sifter. It's showing on here a basic pool, rubber burn mining. It says, your basic pool, so they're only taking out 75% of the rubber. Action Target did the same thing with me when they priced the basic pool, and when they got there, I'm like, that's all you're taking out? And they're like, yeah, that's a basic pool. I said, well, I want it all out. It's just more money.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah, whenever I spoke with her on the phone, I asked her to go over what exactly would be done, and she said that they would pull out all the rubber, sift it, and then repack the entire berm.
Are
Now,
they doing any fire protection back in it when they put it in?
we didn't opt for fire protection in the beginning, and we haven't had any issues with fire.
Right. And
I mean,
I
yeah.
did it in the beginning, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, because I was mainly worried because it is open and there is rain that hits it. So I was like, well, what is... And she even told me on the phone, she said, well, if you use fire retardant and it's outdoors and you get rain, it normally will pull that fire retardant towards the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't opt to do any type of fire retardant. Like I said, we haven't had any issues with any fires.
What is the plan to dispose of it?
They will take the lead that they pull out of it. They'll take that with them because that is our precious metals recycling. She said that they would pay us $1.50 per pound of lead.
No, it won't be that high. I wish it was.
That's what she told me. Yeah, she was doing basic numbers on the phone.
You can call Eric, our Karen Province's sister is at Allendale Road, and she'd quote you on any of that stuff. You just wondered about what that value might be.
Yeah, well, I did call Bell Processing about lead and brass as well because we have a pretty good stockpile of brass. And yeah, our lead, I think Bell Processing told me 85 cents a pound on lead and I don't know, $1 something on brass, $1.23 on brass.
It fluctuates.
But yeah, it fluctuates because it's
I've sold brass for $2.40 a pound.
Yeah.
It all depends. But do y'all keep all the brass barreled there?
Correct. We have all the brass on site.
We got brass stored in the warehouse and
Cool.
Yes.
crates.
And I'm gonna tell you, Sheriff, from a business point of view, I wouldn't let Action Target take your brass. Because you can take your trailers that your inmate guys use to haul equipment, load up those barrels, I take all mine to bail. You can take it wherever you want. And I will tell you, my last range cleanup, I think I took out 18,000 pounds of lead. Good. So you have to negotiate the best deal you can. That's why if you're going on paying 12.6 plus the lead.
Well, what they said is that they would take the lead and the brass, and the 12.6 was the original quote. Once
They would
the
offset
precious
it.
metals
They would
were
offset it.
processed,
Okay.
they would use that as a credit towards the overall bill.
The problem is they don't sell it locally, they'll truck it.
Yes,
And
that's what she
when
said.
you eat up all your expenses.
Yeah, she said normally it's a 4%. It's 4%.
And Eric, if you did run into, I mean, what if they come and they say, this is really hazardous waste and we need to, you could carry that yourself with
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, good.
The fines and the lead, you can't. I've tried to haul my own, and I have a dumpster business, and I'm the generator of it, and I still can't. It's happened. I'm having to have
well, all he has to do is placard for it or get a,
you've got to have a special
Permit to
license
pull
on
it.
the lead.
I didn't realize
I've been
that.
trying for the last 6 months.
Yeah, on some of the hazmat, the smaller hazmat materials that they would generate, the Tyvek suits, the respirators, things like that, we can dispose of through the.
And they'll bag all that together.
Correct.
They'll bag all your gloves, Tyveks, all your fines, everything into boxes, and they make you have those boxes before they start, but they won't separate them.
Okay, yeah,
But
she
they're not.
said they would bring all material with them to do everything that they need to do. Because I asked about disposal of everything, and she said, well, we can take the lead
They
and
will, and they'll haul
copper.
it all off, but the
Yeah.
further they haul it, the more it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, and they're based out of Utah, so I'm not sure if they go all the way to Utah. I'm not sure exactly where their disposal sites are.
They
Dump
have
the
a-
lead on county road somewhere.
Their cleanup, well, you hope they do, we can make some money off of it, but they have a regional, this Texas cleanup crew operates in this region, so they'll sell it here in Texas, but it's not locally here.
Yeah, it's probably down south.
It'll be in the Metroplex area.
Mhm.
So would we be better off retaining our recyclables?
Well, so the quote, they're gonna bag it up and stage it. Then I think they'll quote you what the credit would be that they could do, and at that time, I'm asking.
Yes.
It looks like then y'all can make the decision, we don't really like that amount,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it ourselves.
Yeah, because right now we don't have accurate weights of everything that's being mined from it. I can only speculate. 5 years, there's probably 15,000 pounds of lead in that thing.
And the markets are moving.
So they can make that decision.
Correct.
Because this is the top amount for no credit back, and then,
That is the top amount for no credit.
that's what, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. with-
Yeah.
Well, this thing's gonna be cleaning mine in a couple of months, so.
Really?
So 12,600 is what it's gonna cost.
That's,
No more.
That's the most.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, at the most, prior to us turning in any of our precious metals. I mean, whenever I spoke to Ms. Rosato about the precious metals, they really wanted the brass. They really want the brass. Because we
Eric, I
have,
got a question.
yes, sir.
I don't know how much brass we have. We're just gonna give like 600 rounds of brass.
I think they were talking about every piece of brass that we
Do
had.
we tell them how much we have?
No, because I didn't know at that
Yeah,
time. It was
I
after
tell
the
them we have about
conversation I would have
1,500
with
rounds
some.
of brass and give that, sell it to them, and the rest of it we sell locally.
Yeah, we have barrels of brass.
We have a bunch of brass.
I mean, what's a bunch?
A bunch.
Barrels.
55-gallon drums.
Well, that's fine, I mean, I do too, but I mean,
Yeah.
you get 5 of them or 20 of them?
We got boxes and cases.
We probably have 10. We probably have 10,
That's
55.
not a lot of brass.
Yeah.
So,
It's just the barrels and stuff.
But it'll still bring a good money for
Yeah,
you. I mean,
it'll bring
they
it
may
back.
be willing to.
Mickey, it's a lot if you're buying it, but it's not much if you're selling it.
Yes, you're right, Commissioner.
those same barrels, you can only fill a quarter full and be able to pick them up with lead. And a quarter is pushing it. If
Yeah.
your lead's that deep in a barrel, that's all you can do.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to move that around
Don't
manually.
put it down out there. We sell it.
Yeah.
That's gonna require a different item on the agenda.
Okay.
So that's the quote for mining it. And Action Target, because they were the original manufacturer of the target system, that's who I elected to call.
And that's the only one that has a Texas crew. Most
Oh.
of them are out of Florida, and it's real hard to get everybody here, so I've shopped it a lot. I agree, Action Target's a good reputable company.
And they seem to be, their time frame is, she was telling me 3 to 5 weeks. Once we give them the go-ahead, they can set up a date as long as it's not raining or hasn't rained 2 days prior to them being here. So, because they don't mine it when it's wet. So, and they said that
Middle of August before we get them down there.
yeah, they said normally it's three to 5 weeks, and they can be out here with the full crew. And she said 2 to 3 days for a complete mine. Is what she was estimating.
Imagine they'll wanna do it in May.
Well, she gave me dates. She gave me dates for the beginning of March. She said they have openings for the beginning of March to come out here and do it if we elect to have it done. Yeah. So.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? All right,
We do have trailer, if y'all goosenecks or whatever, if y'all do wanna haul that or whatever,
Yeah,
just
we have
let us
some
know,
trailers.
you can sure borrow it.
Okay. All right. Whenever they come on site, I'll speak with them when they complete the job and see what it is, how much material we have. Like I said, we don't know. I know that the trap itself, there's a lot of lead in the trap. There's a bunch.
I wouldn't be surprised if you pull 20,000 pounds of lead out of it.
Yeah, I know the berms are 24 inches, and you can sweep down about 3 inches, and you can see lead and projectiles 3 inches into the berm.
Wow.
We have actually found lead in the parking lot by the dock. Rounds popping up and going
And that's,
over.
the more lead you get in there, it becomes real unsafe, cause you get so many ricochets back off of it.
Yeah, and that's what we were having. We were having some pop outs because they would just form. Well, this commissioner, that that lead impacts and
Build
just
pockets in there.
yes, builds big clumps of lead.
Wow. And it does become a safety issue. I mean, I've had people actually get hit with a bullet coming back.
Well, that's a good
from a
training.
ricochet.
I mean, not at any velocity, but
Yeah.
you
Should've been
know, hit
behind
somebody.
cover.
Yeah, yeah, and we've had the same thing. We've seen bullets at the 3 and the 7 and the 10-yard line, just complete projectiles, just bouncing out.
And when you seeing that's.
Yeah, that's what
telltale
prompted.
signs, you
Yes,
gotta do
yes,
something.
that's what prompted the move to go ahead and get the range mined and cleaned.
But your contract on here says that they're not gonna remove fines, and that's really, your fines are just to pulverize, the worse you let your range, the longer you drag it out, the more fines you get,
Mhm.
and your rubber deteriorates, and you need to get those fines out of there, cause they don't stop the bullets as much, but that's the only thing that concerns me is we're not pulling it all out, but you're saying that they told you they were gonna pull it all.
Yeah, she told me that they would clean all the way down, that they would mine it all the way down. So I can call her and get more clarification if need be, because I call her a couple times a week.
Commissioner, the fines are left in there. If we were to pull that out with inmates, the inmate crews get in there and as it's processing, just leave it.
I wouldn't pull it out with inmate crews. Liability.
It's hazardous
Trust me, I've been
material.
all through it. Yeah. So I wouldn't, I mean, you can do it as long as you're wearing respirators and Tyvek suits.
Right.
But you gotta have somebody there supervising them, making sure that they got on their Tyvek suits and their stuff, and with inmate labor, I don't think I'd do it.
No, I agree with you.
Wouldn't touch that liability.
If
It's
we-
hard
if-
enough to keep your paid employees doing what they're supposed to do. So,
Any other questions? All right,
Thank
we
you.
have-
Eric, thank you.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kincaid to approve the quote 137666 in the amount of $12,650, and Commissioner Watts seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on to item number 4, discuss, consider, and/or take action on the county's internet provider contract with WebFire. Ripley?
Yes.
How are you?
Good, thank
you. Let's see, Brendan, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Go first.
Do what?
I can go first.
Okay, Brendan, if you'll come up and talk to us about this item, and then we can ask you, or we can ask Mr. Tate questions.
Yeah, this is just a contract for internet. We already use WebFire for our current connection here at the courthouse, and it's been a very good connection. We have no issues with it. This is just to renew a contract because currently we're month to month, and this would give us a better deal for what we have. And then Ripley's here to ask for it. Do what?
it is a better deal.
Yes, it is.
Right now, on the month-to-month, we're paying $1,800?
Correct.
Okay, and this would be, the proposals for 5 years at $1,100 a month.
Correct.
And Brendan, I think I asked you this, pricing-wise comparison, that's a really.
It is.
good
It's a
deal
really
compared
good
to-
deal. Yes.
Okay, and what we'll need to do for a motion standpoint, if y'all are in agreement, we'll need to ask our attorney we have the proposal, but there's some things we would need to do on the contract on our end
With
to make
contract
it,
review.
to do a,
Motion to approve the contract review
so, do we want to go ahead and then authorize me to sign it?
and
as well?
authorize Judge Johnson to sign once the contract is fully reviewed.
Nikki, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any questions for Brendan or for Mr. Tate?
Ripley, we appreciate everything you do and the help you give us when we do have issue, and thanks for always being there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Not often the bill go down.
Yeah, it was pretty much, I mean, that seems like a very good reduction in rate. Across the board, is the internet service kind of gone down a little bit in charges retail side of it? With more and more competition out there? Have you noticed that over the last 5 years?
Yeah, bandwidth charges in general
Right.
have generally seen a decline over time, sure.
That's what that seems like an exceptionally good price, but I think on the backside of that, there has been it's less expensive for you also to get it. It seems like
I
there's
wish
been
I
a
could
lower
say that's a
price.
fact, but it's not quite the case, but yeah, it's an extremely competitive rate, and we've been providing that service here for many, many years. And the back end of the other services, the support and so forth that go with that, really aren't detailed out in that, but as Commissioner Watts and Brendan alluded to, we do offer quite a bit of support, and that is a managed contract, managed service. So what I mean by managed, excuse me, I'll step up. What I mean by managed is that service is actually monitored by our NOC, our Network Operations Center, 24/7. So when things go on the network or we see things, we can contact Brendan and determine what's, help resolve issues before they even get to the end users or where you ever see problems. So that's just part of that that's included in that type of service, but I don't have it really detailed out in terms of exactly what we're providing there, but it's just a matter of making sure the county has this connectivity and the service is quality and reliable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Be glad to.
Any other questions? All right, we have, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham to do contract review and for the 5-year proposal, and then to allow me to sign it after contract review. Got a second from Commissioner Fincannon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. And then item number 5 is receive update on courthouse renovation, elevator projects, and county courthouse annex. Commissioner Beecham?
Had actually a pretty busy week last week with the elevators. They worked through the non-ice storm of 23.
Good.
They actually got quite a bit done. Probably a good thing that we were closed because they can make all the noise they wanted to and not bother anyone. So there was a little incident this morning that I'm anxious to hear a little more about. We dropped 2 2x6s several floors down into the elevator shaft this morning. And I don't think it hurt anything or I know it didn't hurt anyone, but there was a pretty good noise. And when I went out there to see what was going on, we had somehow dropped those 2 2x6s. That happened right before court, so I hadn't had a chance to follow up on it too much. Annex, you can see we've got the exterior going pretty quickly out there. So
I've been asked by a couple people just out at the grocery store about how long that scaffolding should be there on the annex. Do you have any idea on that?
End of spring.
Okay.
It's a pretty quick job. And then we're still looking at 2 to 3 weeks out from starting the interior. I'll know more this Thursday, a definite start time on that, but we're getting really close to starting the interior. We want to keep it or get the start here in the early spring, late winter, so we can take advantage of the non-heating days. So we don't have, because we're going to be bringing the air conditioners offline, rerouting them, etc. So try to take advantage of the cooler, milder weather.
Jim, were you able to listen to our Friday meeting?
I was not. I was busy getting instructed on the ethics for judicial.
Well, we had talked about that multi-purpose room and thought, and you'll encounter it probably more regularly with the judges, but if we could get to the point where we could utilize that area for staging of jury selection, fifth floor, then we could bypass some of the, Cheryl's saying, a little over 800 a month or a time. So 16 a month if we do it twice. But we talked about maybe going ahead and getting that to the level where we could utilize it to save some money. And of course, that would be contingent on the elevators coming up at good time too. So
But
that'd be great.
Reached out for furniture quotes. Would be the same furniture that we'd ultimately use in the final jury assembly on 4 if we pursue that. So,
well, did y'all see the quotes in Impact that you were telling, that I was thinking $10 a chair. Mark said it's easy 50, and after reading Impact, it made me way more. I just was shocked.
Oh, the convention quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you wanna
Yeah.
sit down
It's like,
real easy.
wow.
Yeah.
I'll think twice before I grab that extra Coke at our next
Yeah.
convention. I may grab 3 to take them home there.
All right, any questions for Commissioner Beecham? All right, thank you for the update, sir. Okay, with that, it is 11:17, and Commissioner's Court is adjourned.